Hello, my Bill 5000 Nation. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully everyone's having a great day. If not, no, hope it gets better from here. We are back with another Watcher. That's right, it's Watcher Wednesday. This one's titled, Are You Scared of the Holidays? Fuck yeah. Man, have you ever been to Black Friday and been beat down by an old lady? The holidays scared the shit out of me, bro. People get crazy, man. We lived at our other house. We lived across from a basketball court, and one time, dude, this dude started flipping out in front of his old lady, saying that he's going to just himself in front of her and her kid and everything else. And I'm just like, because at that time I smoked cigarettes. But we didn't smoke in the house. We always smoked outside on the porch. Even if it was snowing, it didn't matter. We was out on that porch. I don't like my house to smell like cigarettes. It's bad enough I do. I don't want to. I no longer smoke, so it's all good. But we was out there, we was smoking a cigarette, and I'm just watching in disbelief, listening to this motherfucker say this, and it's literally like Christmas, the day before Christmas Eve. It was after midnight. It was technically, the day of Christmas Eve. Technically, like bright ass early that morning, right after it turned midnight. Out there flipping shit, and I'm just like, ooh, holidays really do bring out the best in people, don't they? Damn. So yes, long story short, holidays scared the fuck out of me. Let's go ahead and get into today's story. Go ahead, turn them lights down low, put on something comfy, cup of something special. Let's get spooky. Or just creeped out over the holidays, whichever one you feel is more necessary. I say spooky.
This video contains content that some might find disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
How disturbing, Ryan.
The holidays, a time to gather together with the ones you hold most dear.
Yeah.
Or for others, perhaps one of the lonelier times in the calendar.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, our narrator, an elderly man, falls in the latter camp. But this Christmas, he's in for a holiday treat.
A good treat or a bad treat?
I'm Ryan Bergara, and this is the holiday special of Are You Scared? A show where I tell my friend Shane Madej the internet's scariest stories that may or may not be true. Now, I have not read this story before, and neither has Shane. So grab your hot cocoa, turn off your Christmas tree, and let's see if we can make it until the end. A Christmas treat.
Like, them little Buckeyes. Oh, I love those.
It was a particularly bleak.
Like, I love Christmas time because of the little weird gifts that you get. Not like the presents, like people go out and buy. I love the little weird gifts, like a bucket full of, the chocolate and peanut butter Buckeyes, or peanut brittle, sugar cookies, snickerdoodles. That's how I ended up with diabetes, I guarantee it. But that's like my favorite part. That and the candy canes. I love anything. I love candy canes, man. They're so good.
Christmas. And while snow is often welcome at that festive time of the year, the penetrating cold and frost, which seemed to sabotage both homes and residents alike, was not. Speaking of Christmas spirit, nice of you to dress up for this holiday special.
Sorry, I looked through my closet. All my clothes are very muted. Sue me!
I won't.
Thank you. 'Tis not the season to sue your friend for not wearing colorful clothes.
The temperature had plummeted on the 7th, and there was little sign of any forthcoming reprieve. Families attempted as best they could to reach one another, but for many, it was to be a lonely Christmas day. Travel, especially for the elderly like myself, was almost impossible for fear of slipping on the ice. One fall was all it would take for a broken hip or shoulder, and recovering from such an injury was not an easy task.
Sorry.
The Cardinal family, an affluent yet generous group of folks in the neighborhood, had noticed me and taken pity. I had recently moved into the neighborhood only a few streets away and hadn't got out much. The Cardinals were of an upstanding stock and took part in a local home help initiative, spending time with the old and vulnerable. Everyone knew and loved them. They had 2 children. Timmy was the youngest, a boy of only 5 or 6. He was a child whom all looked upon with great adoration, never complaining, never causing trouble, always adorable. And his 10-year-old sister, Camila, was equally as admired. They were both a testament to the caring and nurturing parent skills of Ben and Lucy Cardinal. Ben Cardinal was the local police chief for the area, while Lucy was a marvelous beaming woman, whose smile was as welcoming as it was beautiful.
Hell yeah.
Seeing a family like this, I honestly struggled with enjoying the moment versus regretting not cultivating something like this of my own. So, when they invited me to Christmas dinner, naturally, I accepted, and will admit, I definitely needed the company on the holiday more than they knew.
This is one Anglican-ass family, I'll tell you that. Timmy and Camila.
Well, look, man, you don't have to come at them for being good Samaritans, okay? Look, are they white bread and vanilla? Yes,
These people are white as hell. If you had established a successful family and you see a pitiable elderly fella on your block, are you inviting that man into your home?
Absolutely, why not? He looks like he needs a happy roof to be under and a warm plate, and I'm happy to provide that. But they also have very funny old man stories, and those are great around the Christmas table.
Yeah, this sounds hilarious so far. I'm gonna break a hip, I'm alone, I'm sad. Yeah, very funny.
Each room of the Cardinal home was draped in a multicolored selection of, if I'm being unfairly honest, rather crass Christmas decorations, with numerous cards adorning every visible table and mantelpiece, showcasing just how popular Ben and his family really were. Now he's kind of getting a little salty.
Oh, good for you with your fucking family. I mean, you could say that this is an old man filled with regret.
You're right, I could say that he's an old man filled with regret. Ken Watanabe in Inception. The table was beautifully laid with a red cotton cloth, resting underneath an elegant cream dining set. We had a delightful evening. Despite my very frail appearance, my mind was still quite sharp, as you can tell. I told Ben and his lovely family numerous colorful stories about the old country and the adventures I had while in the full bloom of youth. Of particular interest were my war stories, and Ben was thrilled to know that their guest was that of an intelligent, well-traveled man. If anything, all my years alone at least produced entrancing anecdotes, which was nice to see confirmed as I held court with the Cardinals.
Oh, well now this is sweet. I wish this guy were a little more complimentary of himself because he keeps referring to himself as frail.
I think one of the fun things about being an old man is the fact that you could repeatedly point out you're an old man, especially to get out of things. Like having to take out the trash. Can you go get me a beer? I'm just very old and I don't want to get up.
Well, you know me. I'm an old man.
Them bones are old, son. Would you go in there and get me a drinky poo? I would, but I just don't want to.
Finally, Lucy appeared carrying a huge centerpiece plate. It was unusually large, and as she sat it in the middle of the table, empty and devoid of food, I caught a look on Lucy's face. It was brief, and I immediately attempted to disregard it as a product of my imagination. But it unsettled me deeply. It was as if a private joke had passed between the eyes of Lucy and her children. A flicker of a grin, and not one of kindness or of Christmas spirit, but rather one resembling that of a conspiratorial bully, as if I was the unwitting recipient of some unwholesome prank, waiting to be ridiculed.
They're gonna stuff this old man. 10 minutes from now, Lucy's gonna be up to her elbow in this old man's ass with a fistful of stuffing.
Jesus Christ. Just as the unease.
Maybe Ryan shouldn't talked over the handful of stuffing part, but elbows deep in a man's in his ass with a handful of stuffing. You don't want that.
Began to diminish. Ben appeared with a large, jagged carving knife and a long, two-pronged fork, which reminded me more of a butcher's implement than that required to cut a decent-sized turkey. A turkey which became increasingly conspicuous by its absence. I sat for over an hour, each member of the Cardinal family replenishing my drink with enthusiasm, I actually have emphysema, and the family showed concern for every and each cough or moment of uncomfortable breathing experienced by me. But it was a strange concern. They continued to ask me questions about my stories and answers which came about my life, where I had lived, and how many battles I had fought in. But the interest and concern seemed to be distant somehow. It was only skin deep. Each time I mentioned the old country, those same conspiracy-laden glances were traded across the table, as if excited, not by the content of the stories, but rather by the simple fact that I was a foreigner.
What the fuck is going on? Where are you from again? The old country. You hear that, children? The old country. Exotic.
You hear that, children? He's French. And he's like, yeah, I just said that. Why are you drooling?
Say it again.
What was more perplexing was that Ben repeatedly stole looks towards an antique clock which sat on a mantelpiece above the fire. Looks which were poorly hidden and betrayed their purpose. It was clear to me that he was counting down the minutes to some sort of event, but something deep down told me that whatever was being planned, it was not going to involve me eating a Christmas meal. And yet, I sat, too old and frail to make a quick getaway. And honestly, I wondered if maybe I was just struggling with the all too uncommon experience of human interaction. But then Camila, their daughter, stopped smiling at my anecdotes and historical observations. She had ceased listening. Camila was simply staring with her pinpoint cold, dark eyes, as a snake before a strike. Could you imagine if, like, we've both been to a dinner party, and
Sure.
let's just say we're both throwing heat, okay? We're bringing it. Everyone's laughing at our jokes and our stories, and it's like, nailing it. What if suddenly all the laughs started to slowly diminish to more like, ha ha ha, and then eventually, and then to, get the fuck out of there, man. Roll your old ass out the front door and start screaming.
Well, my shows are on. I got to be going. I gotta catch that weather in my nightly news. Yeah. Denny's opens up early. Gotta get there.
Their son Timmy was next to abandon the act, as he began to grin menacingly at me, as his hands gripped a small serrated steak knife intensely. The most alarming thing was that the focus of Timmy's stare was not my face, but my neck. With one last glance at the clock, Ben Cardinal ceased being the jovial, attentive host and began to run his fingers along the huge carving knife in front of him, with a mixture of anger and lust upon his face. What would that even look like? Would it be like... And he was running his fingers along the steak knife, like... Finally, when the clock began to chime, Lucy relinquished her false, endearing shell and exposed the cold-hearted and twisted personality which lay beneath.
Quite a scene here on this Christmas dinner.
Could you imagine after seeing all four of those things, and he just goes, well, it's been a lovely evening. I think I should get going. It's a bit cold outside. Oh, look at the time. I'm pretty tired. And
Oh, did you hear that? Grandma got ran over by a reindeer. I gotta go.
the dad just goes, sit down.
I mean, that's when you shit yourself.
That's when the shitting should have happened like probably 10 minutes ago.
You open the floodgates, you apologize for ruining their chair, and you head on home. Guess it's gonna be a brown Christmas after all.
As the chimes slowly rang throughout the house, one by one, echoing lonely and piercing in their symbolism, each of the cardinals rose up from their chairs, sharp, jagged knives in hand, and waited. I remained seated, partly because it was difficult for me to stand, but partly because I was so bewildered by what happened next. Holy shit, I'm on the edge of my fucking seat right now.
I don't know. Yeah, this is the best. I like this better than A Christmas Carol.
The chime rang once, and they uttered an indecipherable phrase in unison. The chime rang twice, and they increased their cult-like chorus in ferocity and volume. The chime rang 3 times, and then they stopped.
What are they saying? What are they saying?
I don't know.
This is the most I've ever been glued to a story in this entire series.
All were silent. The house devoid of sound, Christmas spirit, and hope. My wheezing grew in intensity as the uniquely bizarre sight of the twisted family and their true intentions dawned upon me. There was no dinner for me. I was the dinner. The family then quietly and efficiently walked around the dining table and stood motionless surrounding me. Just as I was about to simply ask, why? The clock on the mantelpiece burst into life one final time. The chime was different from the others. It was sharper, somehow fouler, and echoed once and once only throughout the entire Cardinal home. And then suddenly, Lucy slit my throat from ear to ear as Ben thrust his carving knife deep into my stomach. Both parents then removed their knives and stood back watching with pride as Camila and Timmy cut and stabbed me repeatedly. After a few minutes, the frenzy diminished as both children grew tired, and with one last downward thrust, Timmy drove his steak knife so deeply into my hand that it skewered it completely, embedding itself into the table on which the hand rested. Fuck!
That's a strong
crazy.
little boy.
Wow, time to eat a frail old man's ass o'clock. I guess the jig is up, huh?
So, are you scared?
Is that the
yeah.
end?
No.
Never eating Christmas
The
dinner
children
again, bro.
now ran to their parents' collective embrace. They hugged and rejoiced in what was a fantastic Christmas game. As I started to fade out of consciousness, somehow still alive, their father said, "Another generous year of tradition complete. Another lost soul put out of their misery. And I've never had foreign meat before." Arms wrapped around one another, they stared at me and began to laugh loudly, commenting on my stories of times gone by, the war, and the old country. As they turned to each other once more, the laughter diminished, and they looked into each other's rosy, blood-covered faces and shared a family moment. But the laughter had not completely ceased. One person was still laughing loudly. Confusion turned to abject horror as the bizarre truth revealed itself. It was me laughing, sitting covered in blood, with my head tilted back and the deep cut in my throat wide open. I laughed, loud and strong. I never knew how funny family dynamics could be. I pulled Timmy's steak knife out of my hand, dropped it on the floor. Camila screamed as Lucy hid behind Ben. What they thought to be a corpse now stared at them all.
Where are we going here? Where are we going here?
Zombie?
I'm having fun. What's happening?
Fucking zombie.
Let's go! Let's fucking go, dude!
Timmy began to pee himself and cry. Poor kid. It would be over soon.
I never thought that I would be like rooting for a boy to pee himself.
Hell yeah.
I'm over
excited.
here in the stands being like, yeah, piss yourself, you little piece of shit!
I
Yeah,
couldn't
shit,
hide my
bastard.
glee, as previously hidden fangs cracked through my upper gum, revealing a serrated and terrifying grin. As I rose to my feet, Lucy fainted, and with both hunch and age now gone, I loomed tall and dark before them. I could see in their faces that my countless tales of countries and decades and centuries of existence, now ringed as a warning, realized all too late. Boy, did I eat well that Christmas. So, are you scared?
Fuck yeah. Was it Krampus?
That's fun!
Jordan sinks back! And that's the game!
That was a damn good story. It's gotta be fake. It was too good.
Wowza.
Do you think
Too
he was
good.
telling them stories from like centuries old and they just weren't even paying attention?
Yeah, he was like, I'm giving you hints, idiots. But there probably was the genuine like, oh, I didn't realize they were gonna eat me. How novel is that?
Beautiful.
So he's like a vampire. Now it makes sense. Old Eastern
Oh, vampire! I didn't even think of the vampire. Yeah, but yes, vampires, the fangs. Yes.
Yeah,
of
like
course.
Transylvanian or something like that. So let's find out if this is an experienced or imagined story. A Christmas Feast was submitted to us by Michael Whitehouse and is an imagined story.
Thank God
Also,
for
he
that.
has a YouTube channel, youtube.com/ghastlytales, where he does more of this. So kudos to Michael Whitehouse. Hell of a story there. Big fan
Right,
of the
go on,
work.
check
I
him
had the
out.
time of my life here tonight.
One of my favorite stories.
If anyone out there's watching this, remind me of that. Leave it in the comments, please, because I've almost already forgotten. Michael White. I already forgot. Sorry.
I gotta say.
What a cheery little tale for the season.
Yeah, it actually was a happy ending, to be honest.
It was.
And the moral of the story, if you're
Don't eat
thinking
old
of
people.
eating an elderly person, don't do it.
Yeah, the
Just don't do it.
vampire of it all, certainly that's a reason not to, but just from a moral perspective, do not eat the elderly,
Just the rich.
even if there are no repercussions.
It's good stuff.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays. Good night.
And a happy new year. I really liked that. That was really fucking good. Oh, demonic old devil man sitting there eating the best Christmas meal ever after almost becoming the best Christmas meal ever. That's poetry. It's poetry, bro. I really enjoyed today's story. If y'all enjoyed today's story as much as I did, please go down there, leave a thumbs up. It really does help the channel grow. While you're down there going over, slap that subscribe button, become part of the Bill for 1000 Nation. We do some crazy shit here. And if you want to know when that crazy shit happens, ding that bell. It might work for you. It might not. It probably won't. But if it do, it's going to be late. But when you finally get there, jump on in on one of my premieres. Go over in live chat. Let me know it dinged you. Tell me how good it felt to get one of those special Bill 5000 dings all up in you. Ignore everything I just said. That came out. Let me know how it feels to get a good old-fashioned Bill. Nope. Not going. That. Just say hey. Just say hey. As always, be good to one another. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Man, only thing that would have made that better is if they would have talked about the Bill 5000 Christmas tree ornaments that I had up. They'll be available next year, too. That's right. You want some ornaments, Bill 5000 style for your tree next year? They'll be up. Don't you worry. Definitely go check out the merch. Got some amazing stuff going on. Got new stuff popping up all the time. As always, be good to one another. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Man, yeah, teach me. I'll never try to eat an old person ever again.